Welcome to On the Chain.
I want to throw this up there, Jeff. John Deaton with the absolute, this is the mic drop of all mic drops, if I can say so. So John was asked the question, why would you and 68,710 XRP holders ask to be Amici Akuri and not let in the Ripple attorneys to handle it all? Want to hear the answer?
No, I'd love to hear his answer.
We didn't rely on Ripple or its management team when acquiring XRP, so we're not relying on Ripple or its defense team to protect our XP. Boom!
That's nice. That's awesome. Who wrote that? Who wrote that question?
I don't know. Somebody asked Deaton the question. This is John Deaton's tweet. Somebody asked him like, "Hey, how come you didn't have support from Ripple?" He's like, "Because we didn't have support from Ripple or its management when we acquired XRP."
That's awesome. That's
what this might
great
be.
Statement.
We may have to put this up there with the Jeremy Hogan tweet and call this one, a co-tweet of the year, because this one here
that is awesome.
Is absolutely.
Let's frame that and turn it into an NFT. That'll have a ton of value once the case is over. There you go.
Just mic drop moment.
That's a beautiful NFT right there.
Yeah, or just turn it into the we have to put a spot on our website for the we'll just call it the OTC Hall of Fame. Tweets.
There we go. That's what we need.
We need to put that. We're gonna do that. We'll put a page up, and we'll just we see these cool tweets. You can just cycle through them, and you can see what we deem the XRP. And we'll do it by year.
All right, let's do that. I like that. Yeah, perfect. 2022. Yeah, OTC Tweet Hall of Fame.
Tweet Hall of Fame, and then you had this one here. So Jimmy Filan dropped this. This was the transcript from the June 7th hearing, and of course,
this is pretty big right here.
Jeremy Hogan right here dropped this right here. Attorney Filan got the transcript of the hearing from June 7th, and my old abused ears did not deceive me, says Jeremy Hogan. The SEC attorney really did say that Hinman's speech provided the market SEC guidance. The gambit has completely fallen apart for the SEC in regarding the fair notice defense. And there it is right there. The purpose was to provide guidance to the market on legal issues before the SEC. And basically, Director Hinman was giving the market the views on how the SEC would treat digital assets under the security laws. Thoughts on that, Jeff?
Well, just as we've been saying from day one, the SEC has been on the wrong side of this. The SEC has really stepped in it. It's amazing to me because they run around with their shoes tied together and they're tripping all over themselves. They're the ones who brought this lawsuit. So if they're the ones who brought the lawsuit, they should have been very well prepared for it. And it's amazing to me, how much of this is just being flung right back in their face. But this is what happens, when you single out retail holders, when you're doing what's detrimental to the market, and you're not looking out for the market's interest. You're looking out somehow, maybe for career path interest, or maybe there's some other purpose in mind here. But man, I think that is huge. That's really a huge outcome overall, because they kept denying, and look what happened.
Yeah, and then so he followed up with that tweet with, in other words, the SEC tried to have it both ways, and instead got it no ways. Like when you're cheating on your girl and they both find out, and then you have no girl. It's great. That's what I love about Jeremy. It's like Jeremy Hogan always puts things in a really good perspective. I love his sense of humor. And here we have, this is CNF says that poor attorney was a deer in headlights. She might not even remember saying that. Yeah, I don't know where it came from. It was completely out of the blue.
Oh my God.
Jungle chimed in and said, I'm assuming that actually not great overall to have that on the record. They can settle with Ripple, but the next crypto project will likely latch onto that statement. I would assume. Does it work like that? Can someone use a court transcript in another case? Jeremy Hogan said, sure can. Words matter in court, and they do last forever.
As much as the SEC tries to bury it, they're going to try to run from it, hide it. They're going to try to get it stricken from the record. They try everything. Yeah, I mean, it's just
right. They're acting more like the defendants here, Jeff. They're acting like they're the defendants. They're the ones brought the case. They're the prosecutor. I mean, come on. This is why I say this is actually a fun part of the movie. Where you got the protagonist and antagonist, where things start moving the other way, and all of a sudden the hero shows up and just destroys the opposition. And this, right in
Chip, you really have to wonder what the outcome is going to be now. I mean, imagine, they've stepped in it big time. I still don't believe there'll be settlement. I think they're so, stubborn and hard-headed at this point that they're not going to seek settlement. They believe they're on the right side of this thing, and they're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And this is one that's going to go down in the history books as probably one of the biggest lost cases by the SEC due to their own folly. A case they never should have brought to begin with.
And Jeff, let's go back to our channel, and let's go back to December of 2020 when you and I started breaking down the complaint, the 70 odd pages or 80 pages, whatever it was. And what you and I both came to the conclusion of is this is absolutely ridiculous. And the upside may be getting clarity faster than Congress or anybody else can act. And guess what? We're a year and a half, almost 2 years into this, and that still holds true. We still probably will end up with clarity well before those knuckleheads in Congress do anything. So DNI has a great statement here. He says, this is what happens when you can't keep your lies straight. That is so
exactly right.
On point. Alchemist says, John Deaton is my hero. I think he's all of our heroes. And I wanted to, Jeff, it's interesting you would say that about the settlement, because John Deaton had this tweet. He said, I see people saying that Ripple won't settle now. Gary Gensler, if Gary Gensler called Mary Jo White is an ex-SEC, but she's also one of the lead attorneys. She's helping out as far as on the Ripple. She's on the Ripple side. And if Ripple called, or in other words, Gary Gensler called Mary Jo White and said, hey, pay $100 million, admit you sold the security between 2013 and 2015, and we'll declare all ongoing and future sales of XRP as non-securities. Brad Garlinghouse would write that check immediately.
Exactly.
But Jeff, let's break this tweet down to, I see what John's saying here, because the people saying they won't settle, that's us, Jeff.
That's us.
You know why?
Yeah. The SEC will never make that statement.
Because of this right here.
Yeah.
Pay $200 million, pay $1 billion, pay whatever. But here's the part, and Garlinghouse said he would absolutely settle, but he said, and we will declare all ongoing future sales of XRP as non-securities. Oh, well, that just destroys all their enforcement pillar for going forward.
That's it. Yeah, I think if they come out a statement like that, and just like that question to John D or to Hogan, will those words matter in the future? Can that be used in future cases? And he said the answer is yes, and so the same will be held true here. So if the SEC is going to come out and make a statement like that, I don't see it. I mean, they're way too deep into this thing. There's no way that the SEC, and 100%, wrong on this, but I just think just from human nature, they're too deep into this thing. They're too stubborn, unless there's a complete changeover of the SEC at this point. I don't see Gary Gensler, changing course on this. He's made his statements, he's made his bed, and that's it. There's no turning back at this point, because that means he can't even save face, because if he made a statement like that, that'll be it. That'll be the end. That'll take all the fangs out of the SEC, and that ruins his pillars of enforcement, like you said, which was his motto coming into this thing.
That was his mantra, and that's where so the other statement he had here was Ripple. So he wrote a whole tweet thread, which is awesome. We're not going to get into the whole thing, but he says Ripple isn't going to not settle so that the overall crypto market gets a favorable ruling. Yeah, I don't think that either. They're going to do what's in the best interest of Ripple and their shareholders. Remember, they're shareholders. They have over $300 million invested into Ripple, not the crypto market. Plus, there's no guarantee Ripple will do better than that with the judge's ruling. There's way too many variables, and he goes ahead and breaks them down.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.